The Louie T Network is powered by MusicHead University. MusicHeads, classes in session. Turn me up. Enroll on YouTube now. Link is in the description.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome to the Command Post Live. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. I, of course, am your Commander-in-Chief, Louie T. Thank you for joining me. So we are on the eve of the schedule release for the 2025-2026 NFL season. We've had leaks throughout the course of the last 2 days. Some erroneous, some legit. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share an erroneous one with you tonight, but only because there could be some truth to some of the games. Most of them, I think, are incorrect, but you just never know. But I want to do an exercise with you guys tonight. This is going to be an interesting one, to say the least. I'm giving you guys full control tonight. I'm giving you the wheel. All right. I'm letting you guys craft the perfect schedule for the Washington Commanders in the 2025-2026 season based off of all the information that we know. Okay. So I'm giving you guys total control over how this schedule looks. All right. We'll take input from you guys out there in the comment section, in the chat. And we're going to put this thing together piece by piece, brick by brick. And we'll see how good we ultimately do when it's all said and done. But so before we get to that, real quick, just to, briefly clean up something that we already knew. We talked about it the last 2-3 days. For some of you, you were talking about this last week. Ozzy had put this out on his X account that the Commanders were, in fact, going to Madrid to take on the Miami Dolphins in week number 11. So this was not a secret. This was almost known information almost a week ago. That was confirmed today. The NFL dropped its list of international games, and the Commanders, in fact, do play the Miami Dolphins in week 11. So that was confirmed today. Again, no surprises here. We already knew. And based off of Dan Quinn's answer on Saturday afternoon when he stepped to the podium after day 2 of the rookie minis, we knew that this thing was actual factuals, right? So that was confirmed. So we now know 2 games for the Commanders' upcoming schedule, weeks 16 and 11. Weeks 11, they are going to Madrid to take on the Miami Dolphins. And in week 16, we're taking on the Philadelphia Eagles at home as a part of a Fox doubleheader at home. Week 16, Eagles coming to town. Big matchup. The first of 2 games in a doubleheader sequence the week before Christmas, December the 20th. We talked about that yesterday as well. So those are the 2 things that we know. Nothing else right now is concrete. Everything else is just conjecture and hearsay. Speaking of conjecture and hearsay, let me throw a little bit at you right now. So this was a schedule leak that we think is erroneous. We do not think this is a legitimate schedule release. There are some games here that are known by the public that they did get right, obviously, because it's already out there. The Cowboys at Eagles, obviously, we all know that. That was released on Monday. Friday, September 5th, you have the Brazil game in Sao Paulo. That game is going to feature the Chargers. The opponent has not been released, but it's going to be the Chiefs. We've already been told by various sources that we all trust that that game is going to be featuring the Chiefs. They're going to roll it out tomorrow because it's a YouTube special, but we already know it's the Kansas City Chiefs. So those 2 games are correct. Now you look at the rest of the slate, it actually makes sense, right? I'm going to be honest. If it turns out this way, I'll be disappointed, not because I'm disappointed in the opponent. but because I'm disappointed that we didn't get one of the primetime slots. I don't want to play on Christmas nor Thanksgiving, but I do want week 1 primetime availability. I do want that coverage. And there's a real chance we won't get it. And I won't be tripping if we don't. I'll just be disappointed, right? But I'm still holding out hope because this is not an accurate depiction of what week 1 is going to look wholeheartedly. But some of these games could be, in fact, correct, right? For instance, this is how we know that this is not correct. So what we do know is the San Francisco 49ers are playing the Seattle Seahawks in week number 1. Obviously, this graphic shows the 49ers playing the Indianapolis Colts. So that is incorrect. This graphic has the Seahawks playing the Rams. I just told you the Seahawks are playing the 49ers. So obviously, that is incorrect. Also, the Denver Broncos are playing the Tennessee Titans in week 1. That is also something that we learned today. That is a 4 o'clock game, a 4:05 kick on CBS or maybe Fox. But either way, obviously the Saints are playing the Titans on this graphic. That is incorrect. And the Broncos are playing the Texans. That is also incorrect. So just right there off the bat, they've got 4 of these games wrong. And being that they've got these 4 games wrong with the opponents that they have now left, that could scramble up this whole thing. But there could be some games that are actually correct here, including our game as a 425 America's Game of the Week, week 1, home against the Bears. It makes sense. I just wanted that on primetime. But if the Bears are the week 1 opponent, you have to keep in mind that 2 out of the last 3 years, we had the Bears on primetime. And they weren't good watches. They weren't good games. But I don't think they're taking that into consideration. It's just the fact that we've played the Bears on national television twice in the last 3 years. At this point, we've exhausted Bears Commanders on national television. People don't necessarily care to see it again. I get that as a fan of the team, of one of the 2 teams. And I could also understand that if there's fatigue from a fan that is not a part of either one of those fan bases. I don't want to see that game again. It was ass in 2022. It was even more ass in, I don't know if it was even more ass in 2023. I mean, it was one-sided. It was a beatdown, but at least points were being scored in the 2023 game. Nonetheless, I don't know if they have any desire to put that on national television again. So I get that if, in fact, the Bears are the week 1 opponent, I'm still holding out hope that we end up here in this 8:20 slot on Sunday Night Football. That, to me, is the prized possession of week number 1. I want it. I want it badly. If we don't get it, it is what it is. But I could totally understand Bengals and Bills week 1, because every time they pit these 2 teams against each other late in the season, thinking they're going to have this great matchup, something goes awry, right? Whether Burrow's hurt or DeMar Hamlin, almost dies on the field, something always goes wrong in this Bengals-Bills matchup that makes it not as palatable late in the season. So I could understand them saying, no, let's, just like they did Dallas-Philadelphia. Normally they wait to week 7 or 8 or 10 to put Dallas and Philadelphia against each other. It backfired last year because Dak Prescott was hurt. So Dallas didn't have Dak Prescott in either one of the Philadelphia games. And so that backfired against the NFL. So they said, you know what? Let's get that shit out of the way week 1. Everybody's healthy week 1. So I could see them throwing Burrow and Allen against one another in week 1. And that would make a great Sunday Night Football game. We'd have to, take a step back and bow down to that game, because that's 2 top 5 quarterbacks, and then you've got a perennial powerhouse in the Buffalo Bills. I get it. I don't care for the Monday night game if it were this. Again, this is not an accurate list. So, Rio and myself were talking about this one. Who wants to see Ravens and Packers? I don't. This doesn't move the needle for me. I can't speak for you. Now, I say that I'm talking shit because I want the spot. This is a good game, but I don't want to see it because I want the spot. Okay? It's not like they're putting, Dolphins Steelers down here. Ravens and Packers, that's a really good matchup. I just don't want to see it because they're in the way. I respect Bengals and Bills. I do not respect Ravens, Packers. Get that shit out of here if that's a real thing. Get that shit out of here. You want to put that on Monday night? Fine. Do that in week 5. I'll love it then. Don't hold up my week 1 Monday night. Don't hold that high. Again, I would prefer not to wait till Monday. I hate waiting till Monday, but I want a primetime game in week 1. So beggars can't be choosers at this point. So as much as I want Sunday night, I'll take Monday in a heartbeat, but I also don't like waiting in week 1. It's the worst. And the last time we did it, it was a disaster. And honestly speaking, I would, as I keep talking about it out loud, I'm almost talking myself out of wanting Monday night. I really don't like waiting an extra day. Everyone's played. You've watched all the games. You still haven't played. That shit sucks. We did it before and we got our asses whooped in the process of waiting. It sucks. Personally, I changed my mind. If it's not Sunday night, just let me play at 4:25 on Sunday afternoon. I don't want to wait till Monday. The Packers and the Ravens can have it if that's in fact the game. So I just wanted to throw that at you right now. No, this is not an official schedule, Door Gunner. This is not an official week 1 schedule. This was just a schedule that someone threw out there. And there's no validity to this whatsoever. There are incorrect games that we can identify and point out that we know for a fact aren't taking place. For instance, as I mentioned before, the 49ers at Colts. The 49ers are taking on the Seattle Seahawks in week 1. That is a confirmed week 1 matchup. Thus, 49ers at Colts is incorrect. Same can be said for Seahawks at Rams, as we know that the Seahawks are hosting the San Francisco 49ers in week 1. So the Rams are not playing the Seahawks, so they're playing someone else, obviously. Obviously, the Colts are playing someone else. The Broncos are playing the Titans at 4:05 in week 1, which means the Texans are not playing the Broncos and the Saints are not playing the Titans. So this is not an accurate week 1 depiction, but I did want to throw it out there just because it's Bears Commanders on it, and that could be the week 1 matchup. So I digress. So with that said, let's go ahead and get to the proceedings this evening. You guys are in total control, okay? So we are now in the lab where you guys are going to completely and wholeheartedly decide what this schedule is going to look like. Up here in our bank, we have all of the things that we'll need to make this work, right? All the opponents, home opponents are down here at the bottom, road opponents up here at the top. You have your bye week here, Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Thursday Night Football, et cetera, et cetera. We will put the games, if it's a Monday night, we will make that designation and so forth and so forth. In the green, you see all of the exclusions for that particular week. For example, week 1, and this is all based off of what we know, right? So in week 1, we cannot play the Philadelphia Eagles. Obviously, they're playing the Dallas Cowboys. So thus, we cannot play Philadelphia or Dallas. We cannot play Kansas City as they are playing the Chargers. Thus, we cannot play the Chargers or the Chiefs. I just told you the Broncos are taking on the Titans in week 1. So thus, you cannot play the Denver Broncos in week 1. And I just told you that the Seattle Seahawks are playing the San Francisco 49ers, all of which are on our schedule. You cannot play the Seahawks either. So in week 1, you cannot play 6 out of the 15 or I guess 12 options that exist. 6 of them are taken off the board in week 1. So same can be said for week 4. You cannot play Minnesota. They are over in Ireland in week 4. You cannot play the Vikings in week 5 either. They are in London in week 5. The Broncos are over in London in week 6. So they are off the table. Week 10, the Falcons are over in Germany. You cannot play them in week 10. Week 13, the Eagles and the Bears will do battle in a primetime setting, Black Friday. So you cannot play either of those teams. And then obviously week 17, Christmas week, the Denver Broncos and the Chiefs are playing on Christmas Day, Christmas night, actually, to cap off the triple header that will take place that day. So you cannot play the Broncos or the Chiefs in week 17. And then you have to have an NFC East opponent in week 18, as we all know. So that is something that must take place as we craft this schedule. We already know that the Commanders will be playing the Dolphins in week 11 in Madrid. And we also know that the Commanders will be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles in week 16 as a part of a Saturday doubleheader on Fox. So with that said, the floor is yours. Week 1, talk to me. Tell me what you think. And if you could, put a little bit of a reasoning as to why. But honestly, I just need what you think is going to be the week 1 opponent. Will it be a primetime game? Will it be a 4 o'clock game? Will it be a 1 o'clock game? Leave it down in the comment section. Let's get it done. All right. The floor is yours. If you think it's going to be a Sunday night game, a Monday night game, whatever, what may have you, whatever you think the distinction is, when you put the team, just to get the particulars out, when you put a team, put the time of the day. So if you think it's a 4 o'clock game, put Falcons 4, right? Or if you think it's a Sunday night game, put Falcons SNF. If you think it's a Monday night game, Falcons MNF, right? Make sure you make that distinction, okay? All right, let's go through. All right. I see a number of Lions week 1. Jefferson says, I think it's the Lions or the Falcons. All right. Lions Sunday night at home. Lions probably, Lions Sunday night football. 1 o'clock, Falcons, 4:25 Bears. Lions Sunday night football, Lions Monday night football. Vegas, 1 p.m. Vegas, 1 p.m. You really think out the gate we're going to get Vegas in week 1 at home at 1 o'clock? I don't see that. I don't see that at all. I'm seeing some Bears. So the two that I've seen the most of, Bears at 4:25, Lions Sunday night football. All right. So now I want to narrow the focus. Those are the two options. Bears at 4:25, Lions Sunday night football. Leave it down in the comment section. Which one do you think it's going to be? We're going to start right after this HTTR Carson comment. So he says, I've seen Bears 4:25. We've all seen that. I already introduced that to the chat already. So now let's go. Let's see what you guys got. Can't be Falcons because Bucks play them week 1. All right. Well, we don't think it's going to be the Falcons. All right. Lions, Bears 4:25, Bears. 2 Lions, 2 Bears. Bears 3, Lions 3, Lions 4, Bears 4, Lions 5, Bears 5, Bears 6, Bears 7, Bears 8, Lions 6, Bears 9. Bears got it. All right. Week 1, Bears 4:25 it is. So we're home for week 1. Chicago Bears is the opponent that you guys have selected. And we're off and running. Let me add in one more thing before we get going. And then we will be, or let me, actually a couple of things. Let's see. All right. So you guys got the Bears. Week 1. All right. All right. So week 2, what do we got? What are we looking at? What are we looking at week 2? Keep in mind that never mind. I'm not gonna input my opinion. I'm letting y'all handle this. What we got week 2? I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I like the Giants. I like where y'all going with that one. I like that a lot. But there are other options on the board too. I like where y'all head is. I see a lot of Giants at 1 p.m. At Giants 1 p.m. I love that. I was thinking the same thing. At Giants. I see it's overwhelming at Giants week number 2. So let's go ahead and make that a reality, because I think you guys are spot on with that one. I was thinking the same thing. That's why I shut my mouth. I was like, I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna let y'all handle it. And y'all did what y'all always do. Y'all took care of business. So at the G-Men in week 2. Put this in here. All right. So Giants are our week 2 opponent. All right. Week 3. What are you doing here? Week 3. What we got? Now, I know I told y'all I was going to shut up, but I can't. This feels like the first spot for us to be on prime time at in some way, shape, or form, right? We were on prime time in week 3 last year. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to be on prime time this year in week 3, but if you look at what they've done in recent history, just to kind of give you some insight, the Eagles have played on Monday night in week 2 each of the last, I almost want to say 3 years, and it's been against Kirk Cousins every time. I know 2 years in a row for sure. They beat I think, matter of fact, they played on Monday night 3 years ago against the Vikings, Thursday night 2 years ago against the Vikings, and then Monday night again against the Falcons this time when Kirk came back at the very end and beat them. So they do show trends sometimes with specific teams playing in, primetime spots, not necessarily against the same team necessarily, but they have shown the ability to say, okay, this is the spot we like to put the Eagles in, at home, primetime, et cetera, et cetera. So just want to throw that out there. We were on week 3 last year. Maybe it's something they do again this year. Not saying, just saying. So now I ask you again, what do you think is our week 3 game? And again, don't let me influence you. Can I just say this right now? Can we just make the bye week 12? Can we just do that? So that's not a thing that's lingering, because I find it very hard to believe that they're going to play. Like, the NFL gives you an option. They ask you, do you want your bye after your international game? And you can decline. Teams have done that here recently. I find it hard to believe, since we've never done this with this group. Like, if you've done it before, you're used to it, you can say, nah, we're good. We'll play next week. We'll hold our bye for another time. But they give you the option. I think we're going to take that option. Week 12 is not a bad bye. And that's a hell of a travel to go to Madrid. I got to think that they're taking the bye week in week 12. So what do you guys say? Are we good with the bye week being week 12? Okay. All right. Yeah. All right. So everybody that I've seen in the comment section is good with a week 12 bye. I just feel like that's going to be when we have our bye week. That's what it feels like. So I'm just going to put the bye week there. Week 12 is our bye. All right. All right. So week 3. So we're starting after Cody Primo's comment. What are we doing in week 3? So we got Chargers at SoFi on Monday night, Broncos Monday night, Chargers. Gunner, where's that Chargers game? I mean, when is it going to be? 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, Sunday night, Monday night? Got to put that distinction. At Vikes, Monday Night Football, Sunday Night Football in Kansas City. Broncos on Sunday night right now, Broncos in primetime is leading the charge. I think that's tied with Chargers right now. Lions Monday night, Broncos. Broncos Sunday night. Broncos Sunday night. Metaphor, the Lions can't be Thanksgiving. They play at home on Thanksgiving. They're one of our home opponents. They would have to be a road opponent for us to play them on Thanksgiving. Unless you were talking to somebody else in the chat. We are some geeks. I told y'all I'm a geek. I'm a nerd when it comes to this stuff. All right. So what I'm seeing in the comment section, I think most of us feel like it's going to be an AFC team here in week 3. It was an AFC team last year in week 3, right? We started off the season against 2 NFC teams. Giants was week 2. The week 3 matchup was an AFC team on Monday Night Football. I kind of like that spot for us again, Monday night. I don't think this is a Sunday night game. It could be a Sunday night. I'm thinking about CJ Stroud year 2. And I think week 3 was against the Bears on Sunday Night Football. So I could see an instance where week 3 is a Sunday night game, right? So he was at home. Stroud was at home. Doesn't mean we're going to be at home. Feels like an AFC opponent. Feels like it could be Denver at home if you want to be at a home game. If you're on the road, it feels like the Chargers. It does feel like an AFC opponent. I don't know why I feel like Last year, our first primetime game was on the road. I don't know if they're going to do us like that again this year. They could. So I've seen enough Chargers at SoFi week 3. So I'm just going to do that. It was either Chargers or Broncos. That was what the vote was. So we're going to do Chargers on the road on Sunday Night Football. All right. Week 4, cannot play the Minnesota Vikings for the next 2 weeks. What do you got? You should definitely take into consideration travel. Absolutely, you should. The NFL doesn't really care about your travel schedule. They could care less about how many miles you travel, but you should absolutely take that into consideration for sure. But so I see a lot of Seattle Seahawks 1 p.m. Okay. That was an overwhelming Seattle at home week 4. Okay. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's get it. All right. Seattle. At the Crizzo. Week 4. Okay. Week 5. All right. Seeing the Raiders at home. Seeing Eagles. I see Eagles Monday night. Philly Monday night. Philly Monday night. Philly Sunday night. Philly 425. So I don't think we're gonna get 2 primetime Philly games. I mean, we already got them at now. Granted, the week 16 matchup is a Saturday game, but it's still like an isolated game with nothing else on. I consider that primetime. So I doubt that we get 2 Philly games on primetime. The other game is probably going to be at 425 against Philadelphia. I doubt that there's a second game that's out of the ordinary. Philly at 425. Dallas at 4. We want Philly. We want Philly. Raiders. Philly at 4. Dallas Monday night. Cowboys, 425. Philly at whatever time. Don't want Philly this early. Best the Eagles. Falcons Sunday Night Football. All right, so this one, the consensus is Philly in week 5. All right. So we know we play Philadelphia at home in week 16. So you're essentially saying 425 Philadelphia on the road week 5. All right. Let's do it. All right. Eagles. All right. Week 6. What we got? Week 6 at Green Bay. Raiders at 1. Raiders at 1. Raiders. At Green Bay. I see a couple of at Green Bays. It doesn't have to be a home game week 6. It doesn't have to be. You could go 4 out of 5 on the road. We've seen that done on schedules plenty of times. Because at some point you'll recoup those home games. You'll get those back, but this doesn't have to be a home game. It could easily be home, away, away, home, away, away, home, away. It could easily be that. And and you have a stretch of 5 out of 7 on the road before you start eating a whole bunch of home cooking. So doesn't necessarily have to be a home game here. So don't box yourself into thinking that way. My assumption is, and I couldn't put this in there, but Minnesota more likely than not is going to have a week 6 bye. I have to believe after all the travel that they will do in weeks 4 and 5, they're going to be dog ass tired, and the NFL is going to say, hey, we asked a lot of you. Here's a bye week in week 6. So I would say Minnesota is off the board in week 6. That's just a guess and an assumption, being that they're going to play in 2 different countries in back-to-back weeks as the first team in NFL history to be asked to do that. They're going to be in Ireland in week 4, and then they're going to be in London in week 5. I doubt the NFL asked them to play a game in week 6. Just a thought. Just a thought. Yep, we're doing a schedule prediction. Hot fever. All right, so I'm seeing a number of Green Bays. I've seen a number of Raiders. Who do y'all think? So we can also do process of elimination. Who do y'all think is going to be our week 18 opponent? We don't have to go in order necessarily. It's easier to do it that way, but you can also go process of elimination. Who's our week 18 opponent? I was thinking about this long and hard. I doubt we get Philadelphia 2 times in 3 weeks. I don't think that week 16 game is our first Philadelphia Eagles game, which we didn't put that as. We put that as our second one, right? So the Eagles are out. We've already played them twice, according to our schedule. We haven't played Dallas yet. We played Dallas to end the season this year. That doesn't mean we can't do it again this year. Or we played Dallas to end the season last year. Doesn't mean we can't do it again this year. Because if you remember, we played the Giants 2 years in a row to end the season as well. I think it was 21 and 22. We played the Giants in back-to-back years to finish. No, it wasn't. 21 was the Giants. 22 was the Cowboys, because that was the Sam Howell start against the Cowboys. And then he started all 2023. And we ended that season in 2023 with Dallas again. So we had Dallas 2 years in a row to end the season, 22 and 23. And then we had the season ender against the Cowboys last year. So shit, we finished the season with the Cowboys 3 years in a row then, if I think about it, because Sam Howell made his first start of his NFL career in 2022, the last game of 2022. Then we got that Terry got his 1,000 yards. Remember, they showed mercy on us. We got the ball back and we threw a hitch to Terry so he could get his 1,000 yards against the Cowboys in 2023. And then 2024, that was the Mariota game. So you really think they're gonna make us play Dallas for a fourth year? I doubt it. I doubt it. It's gotta be the Giants this year. Gotta be the Giants. And since we already at the Giants in week 2, Giants got to be the week 18 opponent at the crib. Are y'all comfortable with that? Or do y'all think it's Dallas 4 years in a row? Or you think it's Dallas 4 years in a row? And if so, we haven't put Dallas on the schedule yet. Is it a home game against Dallas or an away game? Okay, so I see Giants home game. I see you out there, Miss P. Dallas versus Dallas home. I can't see them having us play Dallas 4 years in a row. That would be wild if they had us playing the Cowboys, because the Giants have played. That means the Giants have played the Eagles 3 years in a row. And now that I think about it, that's been the case, because the Giants have destroyed the Eagles 2 out of 3 years. And in the 1 year and sandwiched in between, when the Eagles were collapsing at the end of the year, the Giants stomped a mud hole in them, right? Stomped a mud hole in them. There's no way they're going to set that up again. So I think you guys are onto it. I think it is the Giants. And I do think it is at home. So I'll go ahead and lock that one in. Excuse me. All right. So we got our week 18 opponent. We got our 2 Giants out the way. We got our 2 Eagles out the way. Let's knock out our 2 Cowboy games. Where's the first Cowboy game? What week is the first Cowboy game? Miss P, we gonna put a pin in that, Miss P. If it's Dallas tomorrow, I owe you a $00. If it's a Dallas Cowboy week 18 matchup for the 4th season in a row, I owe you a $00. I don't think I'm coming up off that $00 though. I don't think I'm coming up off it. I don't think I'm coming up off that. I feel confident that it's not going to be them again. I think it's more likely to be we play the Eagles twice in 3 weeks than it is Dallas for a fourth consecutive year. All right. First Cowboys game. Lay it on me. I see week 9. I see week 10. Make sure. So what I'm asking for right now, all right, and we starting with this Alex Smith comment. What I'm asking for right now is Dallas win. What week? Is it a primetime game? 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, primetime, Monday night, Sunday night? I need all that information. First Dallas Cowboy meeting is what week, what time? Jeep Commander says week 6 at home at 1 p.m. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't see too many Dallas. I don't see any NFC East games except for the Giants being a 1 o'clock kick. Everything that we do this year against the division is probably going to be 425. More likely than not, except for except for the Giants. Lee says week 9 and 14 are the 2 Dallas games. Thanksgiving is week 13 at the Cowboys. 4:30 is the first game, he says, for RS Swimmer 84. Week 8, Jacoby says week 6, right after the Eagles. Week 13, which is Thanksgiving, Jay says week 9 from Door Gunner. Brian T. Beal says he could see us playing Philly both times late. I could see that too. I could see when I first said it, when I was thinking about who we've played in week 18, I was like, ain't no way we getting Philly twice in the final 3 weeks. But I could see a scenario in which our week 18 game is at the link to wrap up the season. I could see them doing some bullshit like that. Because I just assumed when I saw Philly week 16, okay, good. The second game of our 2 against Philadelphia is at home. Get the first one out of the way on the road. And if you win that one, now you're playing with house money late in the season. If you don't, at least you got the fallback game at the crib that you can try to go get, right? So pause. Yeah. That is, now that you say it like that, and I'm reading it, I'm like, yeah, that is crazy. Pause. Dallas Thanksgiving, week 9, week 6, 7, or 8. You gotta pick a week, J-Mod. You can't put 3 weeks in there. Week 10, 425, Thanksgiving. Week 9, 1 p.m. at Jurors World. Week 9, Thursday night, 8:15. Week 6, Sunday night, home. Week 9, 1 p.m. First Dallas game at 1 p.m. here. All right. Week 9. I'm seeing week 9. I think the most. Week 9 and Thanksgiving are the 2 that I've seen the most thus far. Y'all really think they're going to give us Thanksgiving against the Cowboys, huh? Y'all really think that's going to be it? Y'all really think that's going to be the case? Huh. All right. If y'all down for the cause, I'm down for it. Thanksgiving, Dallas. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. So Cowboys. Thanksgiving. That means we're not getting Christmas. That means we are not getting Christmas this year, which I'm not upset about at all. I don't want either one of these, to be honest with you, but such is life. All right. see what I got. Mm, there we go. Thanksgiving against Dallas. All right. All right. So we got that. All right. So where's the other? So now we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 primetime games. We still haven't played on Monday night at all. And I think we still got one more Sunday night in the chamber as well. So let's get back to let's get our other Dallas, our final divisional game out the way. And then once we do that, we can go back in order through the rest of the schedule to wrap this thing up. All right. So where's the other Dallas game? Where's the other Dallas game? Let me throw something else out here. Let's do this first. Well, so Neil Rat, the reason why I say I didn't bring up Thursday is because Dallas is a Thursday game. Not saying that we can't play a second one, but that is a Thursday game, technically speaking. So they don't necessarily have to give us another Thursday game because we're playing the Cowboys on Thursday. We could still play another Thursday game. The Cowboys play 2 Thursday games every year. They usually play Thanksgiving Thursday, and then the following Thursday, they usually reserve that game for the Dallas Cowboys as well. So I think the Lions played on Thursday Night Football last year as well. They always play on Thanksgiving. So again, there's no rule that says we can't play on Thursday still. I just don't think they're going to put us on Thursday again. I could be wrong about that. Anyway, what if all this shit we were talking, we only end up with like 4 primetime games? It ain't happening. It ain't happening. But what if it did happen? I know I would look crazy because I was talking about 6 and 7, all kinds of crazy numbers. But I expect that to come to fruition. I see Dallas week 17. I see Dallas week 8. 17 is very interesting. You could finish the season up back-to-back NFC, all 3 of your NFC East opponents in back-to-back weeks, in successive weeks. Actually, Eagles, Cowboys, Giants to finish up would be crazy. Week 7, I see week 7 for Dallas. I see week 8 for Dallas. Week 17, week 9, Dallas, Fox game of the week. Week 17, week 8, week 8, week 8. So I wanted to say this. I think our week 10 game is going to be a home game. I doubt the NFL ask us or Miami to travel the week before we go to Madrid. Again, I could be wrong. I'm just thinking logistically, if I'm going to ask somebody to get on a plane and travel, 12 hours away, however far Madrid is from here, 16 hours. I don't know what the flight is. I'm not going to ask them to have a road game the week before. I'm just not going to ask them to do that. I'm not going to put them through that. That's what we're doing with Minnesota. They're the test dummies. We're asking them to play, 2 road games in 2 different countries. I'm not going to ask you guys to do that. Again, I could be wrong, and you could be on the road in week 10. The NFL could say, we don't give a shit about none of that. All right. I like that. I like week 10 Lions. I could easily see that being a Sunday or a Monday night game, to be honest with you. If you don't have to leave home, the NFL won't feel bad about having you play on a Sunday night. They won't feel bad about that. I don't know if they would put us in that position. They probably would. This week 10 feels like a 1 o'clock game. That feels like home against the Raiders at 1, some shit like that. Something basic before you hit the road. That's what week 10 feels like, to be honest with you. I'm gonna tell you right now, week 7, 8, or 9 all feel like prime candidates for primetime games. Anywhere in there, I could see a Chiefs or a Lions. To me, the Chiefs and the Lions are both primetime games. Both of them. Wherever you decide to put them are primetimers. Kansas City, week 9. No, our bye was week 14 the last 3 years, I think. 2 for sure. Week 14 last year, week 14 the year before, because we got our asses whooped by the Dolphins, and then we went on our bye week after that. I'm trying to think the year before that. I think the year before that was week 14 as well. I think we've had week 14 buys each of the last 3 years because that was the year that we were 7, 5, and 1 heading into our bye. So that's 13 games. Week 14 bye, came off the bye and lost every single game the remainder of the season and finished up 7, 9, and 1, I think, that year. So, yeah. Damn, we ain't played the Packers yet either, huh? I really would like to get that shit out of the way before it gets cold outside, to be honest with you. Again, we can't base our schedule off of what we want. We got to think about how the NFL would do it. Because if I had my way, let's get the Packers out of the way in, get them out of the way in September, damn it. Like, while it's still nice outside. No worse than October. I don't want to go to Green Bay in December or, hell, even late November. I don't want to do that shit, personally. But Packers, if we do play the Packers late in the season, I think it has a chance to be a Christmas game. Has a chance to be a Christmas game. Has a chance to be a Christmas game, and that would be week 17. All right. All right, so let me tally up the Dallas comments, and then we're going to make a decision on the Cowboys, and then we're going to go from there. All right. So, let's see. We got week 8, week 17, week 9, week 17 again, week 8, week 7, 17 again. So, 9. Week 9 again. Week 9 again. Let's see. All right. I see week 9 Cowboys. So that's where we're going to put them. I got more week 9s than anything else. So we would be home against Dallas in week 9. All right. All right. And there's no primetime distinction with this, right? This is just a regular 425 kick. I think we on the same page there. Highly unlikely that we get a Thanksgiving and another Dallas Cowboy game in prime time. So that's a 425. All right, now let's go in order. We got all the NFC East games out of the way. Now let's go in order and knock these joints out. So week 6. Just to recap, week 1, home for Chicago, 425. Week 2, 1 o'clock p.m. at the Giants. Week 3, at the Los Angeles Chargers on Sunday Night Football. Week 4, you come back home against the Seattle Seahawks. Week 5, you're at the Philadelphia Eagles at 425. What's week 6? Denver, Packers, Monday Night Football, Chiefs, Sunday Night Football, at Vikings, Thursday Night Football, Falcons, Monday Night Football, Lions, Monday night, week 6, Atlanta Falcons, Vegas at home, 425. That Raiders game, if that's not a primetime game, which I don't think it will be, that's a 1 o'clock game, I think. Lions. We can't face Denver, y'all. No Denver in week 6. At Green Bay Monday night, Chiefs Monday night, Lions screen week 14 after Thanksgiving. Huh. I could see it. I could definitely see that. Lions Monday Night Football. I could see that. I could see Lions week 6 Monday night. I could definitely see that. I'm seeing a lot of Monday night Lions. You ain't see it. You ain't know. I know you ain't got here a little bit later, so it's all good. All right. Vikings. I see Vikings Thursday night. I don't see the Vikings on the Thursday night happening. Not again, it could happen. I don't see that one being one that does happen. All right. Lions. Home for the Lions. Home for the Lions. Oops. Put that back. We don't need that right now. That's a home game. Home for the Lions on Monday Night Football. That should be epic. They're looking for get back. They're looking for get back. The last time they was looking for get back against a team, they went to Dallas and put damn near 50 on their head. That shit was ugly. So hopefully we don't suffer the same fate as those dirty bastards did. And that one will be a Monday night affair. Monday Night Football. That'll be a fun one. That'll be a fun one. All right. Week 7. What we got? What we got? What's week 7? What's week 7? Atlanta, at Atlanta. I think I like Atlanta at 1. I ain't gonna hold you. I think I like Atlanta at 1 o'clock. Because in my mind, the next 2 games are road games, right? The next 2 games are road games, and then the 2 games after that are both home games. Like we got Dallas at week 9, and then week 10, I think we're gonna be at home before we go to Madrid. So I feel like the next 2 games are road games. The Vikings go on their Europe trip in week 4 and 5. Then I think they're going to be on the bye in week 6. So this could be Minnesota as well. Could be Minnesota coming off their bye week. That makes a ton of sense too, right? Because we're going to catch some teams coming off their bye, right? Probably 3-4 teams coming off their bye. The Vikings coming off of a week 6 bye makes a ton of sense. So I could see Minnesota here in week 7 as well. I just think the next 2 are going to be road games, personally. All right. So Falcons week 7. And then we got to choose between the Packers or the Vikings week 8. If it's Packers week 8, then it's a primetime game. If it's the Vikings week 8, then it's no primetime game. It's just a 4:25 kick. So, or it could be 1 o'clock. Atlanta week 7. All right. At Atlanta. Week 7. Man, this shit hard too. This is why I don't do this shit. That's why I left it up to y'all. This shit hard. This shit is hard. All right. Week 8. We going Vikings or we going Packers? To me, the Packers is a definite primetime game for us this year. That feels like a primetime spot. I mean, Falcons could easily be 1 too. The Vikings are not a primetime game for us this year. I don't see that. So the Falcons could be a primetime game, but in this particular case, it's not. But the Packers almost feel like a definite. But again, Packers got other teams on their schedule that the NFL is going to put them against in a primetime setting, and we may not be one of those teams. So yes, making schedules are definitely hard. I don't envy them for having to do this. Nah, we not having Christmas and Thanksgiving. We not getting both of those. I don't think. I think our last Sunday night game is going to be against the Chiefs. So, or yeah, we already used one of our Sunday night games against an AFC West opponent. Why not make it 2 for 2 in that department? Chiefs Sunday night, week 8. Packers Sunday night, week 8. Thursday night, Chiefs. I don't see us playing the Chiefs on a Thursday night. Meta. I don't see that going down. Jefferson says, I got a headache already, man. And this shit is tough, man. That's why I'm letting y'all decide. It's tough. I think KC is going to be, late in the season, later in the season. I could see KC being week 14 after like a mini bye against Dallas. And again, we don't know when Kansas City's bye is. Their bye could be week 14 for all we know. But I could see Kansas City being like week 14, Sunday Night Football, something like that. All right. I think I've seen enough. I think I've seen enough Packers in week 8 to roll with that one. So let's go Packers. Is it a primetime game? Is it a primetime game? And just so we know, so we're clear, our week 16 game is a home game. Our week 18 game is a home game. I doubt we finish the season with 3 straight home games. So you got to save one of those. You got to save one of these road games for week 17. Kansas City can't go in week 17. Neither can Denver in week 17. So just keep in mind what we got left, what can go in these slots. So week 17 can't be Denver and can't be Kansas City. And I don't think it's going to be a home game. It's going to be a road game. So you only got Green Bay and Minnesota left. And we trying to put Green Bay here in week 8. So week 17 by process of elimination would be Minnesota. Just so we clear. So if you put Green Bay here in week 8, you got to put Minnesota in week 17 is what I'm telling you. You could do it backwards. It could be Minnesota in week 8 and Green Bay in week 17. You could do it backwards. You could flip-flop them around. But I'm just letting y'all know, if Green Bay or Minnesota is the play at 8, then the opposite has to go in week 17. So how we doing it? Is it Green Bay week 8, Minnesota week 17, or is it Minnesota week 8, Green Bay week 17? All right, so I got to vote for Minnesota week 8. Another Minnesota week 8. Another Minnesota week 8. Chiefs week 8. Minnesota week 8. Minnesota week 8. All right. Y'all got it. Minnesota week 8. At Minnesota. And I'm assuming there's no attachment to this. This is just straight 1 o'clock. Ain't no prime time distinction or none of that with that game. All right. So let's recap where we are before we hit week 10. And we can go ahead and double down on that, because we already talked about what that meant for week 17. So we can go ahead and slide that in right now. All right. And that means Green Bay. And what is Green Bay? That's a prime timer. As of right now, that is a prime timer. So what are we making this Green Bay game? This a Monday? Feels like Kansas City's a Sunday. So this is a Monday, you would say? Y'all really think we playing Christmas and Thanksgiving? We not playing them on Chris. We not playing them on Christmas. They're not going. I'm telling you, they're not going to do that. This is y'all. Look, this is y'all joint. I'm not going. I'm not interfering. Y'all want it on Christmas. All right, I'm putting it on Christmas Day. So let me go get it. Y'all tripping for this. Y'all are tripping for this, big time. But this is y'all's, not mine. I'm gonna let y'all have it. All right, let's see. Oh, I know what I can do. All right. Christmas is a Netflix game. So that's what that would be. All right. All right. So let's recap what we have so far. We got 3 opponents left to place. Okay. 3 opponents left to place. We got the Bears at 4:25 to kick off the season. We're at the Giants week 2, 1 o'clock p.m. We got the Chargers week 3 on the road, Sunday Night Football. Week 4, we're home for Seattle at 1 p.m. Week 5, we're at Philadelphia, 4:25. Week 6, we're home for Detroit, Monday Night Football. Week 7, we're at Atlanta, 1 o'clock. Week 8, we're at Minnesota, 1 o'clock. Week 9, we're home for Dallas, 4:25. We got to fill in week 10. Then we're at Madrid for the Dolphins game in week 11 before hitting our week 12 bye. Let's fill in the week 10 space. We got two home games. Both are AFC opponents. Is it the Broncos or is it the Raiders? Is it the Broncos? If it's the Broncos, it's a 1 o'clock, it's a 4:25 kick. If it's the Raiders, it's a 1 o'clock game. Which is it going to be? Which is it going to be? All right, let's see what you guys are talking about. I too think we're playing Christmas, not Thanksgiving, but we'll see. Denver, week 10 for Denver, for Metaphor. Raiders. So we got 2 Raiders, 3 Raiders, 2 Broncos. Uh-oh. Wait a minute. 4 Raiders, 3 Broncos, 5 Raiders, 4 Broncos. Six Raiders, 5 Broncos, Raiders, Raiders, Raiders. All right. Somebody said I need the Raiders before the Chiefs. We can't have Chiefs, Eagles, Packers. Yeah, I mean, it's look, at some point we're gonna have a brutal stretch. We just play too many good teams. Too many teams that we think are gonna be good this year. I mean, yeah, they could disperse. Like you could put the Chiefs at week 8 and it wouldn't make it as daunting a task. You could break it up. But still, if I told you you had a stretch of Eagles, Lions, Falcons, Chiefs, Cowboys, that shit's still tough. Any way you slice it. You know, you come off the bye, it's Cowboys, Chiefs, Broncos, Eagles, Packers. It's tough either way, right? It's tough either way. So, week 10, it's going to be the Raiders. You guys chose the Raiders, week 10. So, let me go ahead and fill that in. This is a 1:00 kick for us before we head to Madrid. So, if the schedule turns out like this, I'm going to be honest with you. We got to get off to a fast start, weeks 1 and 2, because there could be a hiccup, coming with the Chargers on the road, the Eagles on the road. Seahawks aren't going to be an easy out. But I like my chances against Sam Darnold, but still, got to get off to a fast start like we did last year. And then this stretch right here, let's finish the schedule, then we can talk about what we put together and what we got to do. Week 14, after Thanksgiving, I assume we all think this is Chiefs Sunday Night Football, right? Yeah. Or are y'all going Monday Night Football? Which is it? Which is it? I see 2 Monday nights. If y'all got us playing on Christmas, there ain't no extra Monday night game. That's going to take the place. You're not getting 2 Mondays. You're not getting 2 Mondays, 2 Sundays, a Thanksgiving, a Christmas, a Saturday, and a Spain, guys. We're not getting all of that shit. Okay, that's 8 games that are in as I call, irregular slots. You're not getting 8 irregular slot games. So if you're going Netflix Christmas, then that's going to take away either a Sunday or a Monday. You're not getting the full trifecta because you already got us on Thanksgiving and Christmas, and which is preposterous, to be honest with you. All right. All right. Sunday. I see Sunday night, Monday night. It's kind of even right now. Sunday night. Yeah. All right. Sunday night. Chiefs, week 14. We gotta talk about this schedule y'all put together, man. y'all over here whipping up some shit, boy. I don't know what to call it. It ain't crack. This This is definitely not crack y'all whipping up here. Y'all whipping up some shit, man. I can tell you that much. All right. At the Chiefs. Baking soda. I got baking soda. All right. Chiefs. And we said this is a Sunday night football affair. All right. Week 15. I mean, we don't have a choice. All we got left is Denver. All we got left is Denver. So let's go ahead and throw the Denver Broncos in a slot. And we're going to wrap this puppy up and see what we got. Boy, y'all did some shit here, boy. Y'all did some shit. Y'all did some shit here, boy. Y'all put together some shit here, boy. Good gracious. All right, let's take a look at what y'all did, man. Y'all did some shit here. All right. So this is what it looks like. Week 1. Home for the Bears at 4:25 to kick off the season. Week 2, you're at the Giants. Last year, we were home for the Giants week 2. This year, we're at the Giants week 2. Week 3, you are at the Chargers. Last year, we were at the Bengals on a Monday night. This year, you guys have us at the Chargers on a Sunday night. All right, so 2 out of our first 3 games are on the road, just like they were last year. Week 4, we're home for the Seahawks, 1 o'clock kick. Week 5, we're at the Eagles, 4:25 kick on Fox. Week 6, you're home for the Detroit Lions on a Monday night. So that's a big one. Rematch of the NFC divisional round a season ago. Then you have 2 straight road games at Atlanta and at Minnesota, both 1 o'clock kicks. So you start out your first 8 games of the season, 5 of which are on the road, okay? 5 of your first 8 games are on the road with only 1 AFC opponent, right? So the schedule is sort of backloaded in terms of the AFC opponents. Weeks 10 through 15, we play 3 out of our 4 AFC games, right? Or, excuse me, weeks 10 through 15, we play 4 out of our 5 AFC games, okay? Sandwiched in between with Dallas in the middle. So we backloaded this schedule with the AFC games, so to speak, sort of the middle towards the middle and back area, right? So then you got 2 straight home games before the trip to Madrid. Home for Dallas, 4:25 kick. Home for the Vegas Raiders, 1 o'clock kick. Then you're at the Dolphins, technically at the Dolphins, but you're going to Spain to play them in Madrid. You come off that game, you hit your bye, and this is where shit gets a little bit hectic and funky for the Commanders. This is when they're in demand. Hopefully the season still has something in the balance, because this is when shit gets really dicey. Y'all got y'all shit. Y'all started making up shit here. This is where it got crazy. Thanksgiving against Dallas. So you not only have a bye in week 12, you then come off that bye and you play the Cowboys in week 13 on a Thursday, right? So your bye is sort of cut in half, so to speak. Don't worry, you catch up on the other end of that, that portion of the bye, right? Because generally when you have a bye, you have 2 weeks before you play a game. This is going to cut that second week in half. No worries, you'll get that on the back end of that and come off. You're going to need it because you're going to have the Chiefs staring you in the face on the road at Arrowhead on a Sunday night after the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day. You then come off that game and you play the Denver Broncos at home. So you haven't been at home, technically speaking, if we're going like schedule-wise, because your bye gave you an opportunity to go home. You haven't been home in 3 weeks, technically speaking, right? At Spain, at the Cowboys, at the Chiefs. So technically you haven't been at home in 3 weeks, but your bye is what saves you there. You come off that bye, and I love the finish to the season. 3 out of 4 at home. I do love that. I do love that. I don't love 3 in a row on the road, technically speaking, but I do love finish up the season with 3 out of 4 at home. Home for Denver, home for the Eagles on a Saturday doubleheader on Fox. At Green Bay, you guys just wanted this bad. You know, Jaden Daniels in the snow, Christmas Day against Green Bay. I actually think that's more plausible than Dallas on Thanksgiving. I do not see both of these taking place, but I do see a chance. That Philadelphia game Saturday before Christmas makes me feel like one of those Christmas spots is reserved for us. But I also thought Philadelphia was getting one of those Christmas spots. Does it feel like the Eagles are getting one of those Christmas spots right now? So I digress. But so now we're playing Christmas Day on Netflix. So quick turnaround. After you play on a Saturday, you turn around, play 4 days later on Christmas Day on a Thursday, or 5 days later, excuse me, on Christmas Day on Thursday. And then you finish up your season week 18 at home versus the Giants. If the schedule looks anything like this, it's doable, right? I mean, it's going to be tough, but the beginning of the schedule is solid. It gives you a chance to get off to, I don't want to say a quick start, but it gives you an opportunity where you're not just fighting for your life right out of the gates, right? So if we break this up into increments of 6, they're 18 weeks, break them up into 6-week increments, so into thirds. The first 6 weeks, you've got 3 road games, 3 home games, right? Bears, a non-playoff team from a season ago, doesn't mean shit. Got a new coach, got a whole bunch of new weapons. They could be an excellent team this year, but you're catching them in week 1. That could be a good thing. That could be a bad thing. Giants, we expect the Giants to be ass again this year. You know, to what degree? We don't know, but we got to beat the Giants. If you're serious about being serious, then you need to beat the Giants twice. At the Chargers, going to be tough. Going to be tough, right? We're going to find out if we can stop the run or not very early on in the season, because the Chargers are going to put that theory to test in week 3. If the Giants and the Bears don't in the first 2 weeks, you best believe the Chargers are going to find out if we can stop the run or not. Same can be said about the Seahawks and the Eagles. In that 3-week stretch, we're going to find out if we can stop the run or not, because those 3 teams are going to run the shit out of the football. And then you got the Lions rematch of the divisional round. They're going to be out for blood. They got a new offensive and defensive coordinator. Should be really interesting, right? Then the next 6 weeks, the second wave, right? The second stretch, the second third, if you will. You start off with 2 road games against teams in the conference. Remember, you're going to look at your conference record. You're going to look at common opponents if you're talking about tiebreakers when it comes to the division, or if it comes to a wild card spot. You need to take care of business within the conference, if nothing else, right? At Atlanta, big one, right? That turned out to be a big one last year. Had to have it if we were trying to get to the playoffs. At Minnesota, we don't know what the Vikings are going to be, right? JJ McCarthy, more likely than not, going to be their week 1 starter. They could be a mess, or he could do what Bo Nix did last year, and they could be really good again with a young quarterback. So we don't know what the Vikings are going to be. Got to try to take care of business. Your first matchup with the Dallas Cowboys comes in week 9 at home. 4:25 kick. We'll probably know what Dallas is by then. Are they a good team? Are they kind of trying to find themselves? Are they garbage? We'll know by week 9, right? We'll have a sense. Week 10, home for the Raiders. Got to take care of business, right? That stretch right there of 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, those 5 games before the bye, you got to clean up. I think that's the stretch of ball right there. If this schedule is to come to fruition where you gotta wipe the slate clean. I mean, you need to go 4-1 in that stretch because you gotta assume that there's gonna be, at least 2 losses in the first 6 weeks. You gotta assume that whether it's the Chargers, the Eagles, the Lions, hell, even the Bears, you don't know what you're gonna get. You gotta assume that there's gonna be at least 2 losses in those first 6 weeks. I'd love to come out of that stretch 5-1, 6-0, but the likelihood is you're 4-2, right? You need to come out of this next wave at 4-1, bare minimum. And if you do that, you could be looking at 8-3 heading into your bye, right? Who wouldn't take 8-3 heading into the bye week at week 12? I damn sure would. Sign me up. I mean, I would prefer to be 9-2, 10-1, 11-0, but I take 8-3 in a heartbeat. Come out of that bye after the Madrid game, obviously, and this is where shit gets tough. I think the toughest stretch of our season, if the schedule were to fall this way, would clearly be right after the bye week. At Dallas, at Kansas City, home for the Denver Broncos, home for the Eagles, and at Green Bay is the toughest stretch of football we would face the entire season, if you ask me. We don't know what Dallas is going to be, but we got to assume if Dak Prescott's healthy, they're contending for a playoff spot. The Chiefs are a perennial playoff team. The Denver Broncos, I think, are going to be a team sniffing around the playoffs, if not going again for the second consecutive year. We know what the Eagles are. They're the creme de la creme in the conference. And the Packers are a playoff team every year. They're a triple P, as I like to call it, perennial playoff participant, just like Kansas City is and Philadelphia is. So you're talking about 4 teams that were in the playoffs last year and a team that could easily be competing for a playoff spot this year in the Dallas Cowboys, in or dare. So that by far and away is the toughest stretch of the season, weeks 13 through 17, if the schedule were to fall this way. And you also are staring at 4 of those 5 games being in some sort of unique time slot, not a common time slot, an uncommon time slot. Thanksgiving, that's going to be probably 4 o'clock against Dallas on a Thursday. Then you have a Sunday night game against the Chiefs on the road at Arrowhead. Week 16, it's a Saturday game at home at 4:30 against the Philadelphia Eagles. And then week 17, Green Bay, Thursday, Christmas. It's going to be either the first game or the second game because the Chiefs and the Broncos have the nightcap on Thursday night on Christmas night. So it'll probably be the second game, I would guess, of the triple header that day. So you're playing in uncommon time slots 4 out of 5 weeks against 4 out of 5 playoff teams from a season ago. And again, the Cowboys could easily be competing for something major by the time we get to week 13. So that by far and away to me is the toughest stretch. And then you finish up the season with the Giants. Who knows what that game could mean? It could mean everything. It could mean nothing. Who knows? But if the schedule plays out this way, Sunday night football against the Chargers is 1. Monday night football against the Lions is 2. Madrid is 3. Cowboys on Thanksgiving is 4. Sunday night against the Chiefs, 5. Saturday doubleheader against the Eagles is 6. Netflix game against the Packers on Christmas Day is 7. That's how I envisioned it. 7. I didn't envision, Thanksgiving and Christmas. I just thought Christmas was on the table. And then you would probably take that Thanksgiving game away and toss that to a Thursday or a Monday somewhere, right? Because if you take away Thanksgiving and they're going to put us on Thursday against somebody, it could be against Dallas in week 9 instead of Thanksgiving in week 13, right? And if you take us off of Thanksgiving, it totally reshapes the schedule because now you have more flexibility as to what you can do because you're not locked into Dallas in week 13. You could move around some pieces. You could put another game there. You could put a primetime game there. You could do a lot of things. But all in all, I think we got bits and pieces of this schedule correct. Or not we, y'all got bits and pieces of this schedule correct, but you also did some bullshit too. Okay. You also did some bullshit, but I like it a lot. I think that if it were to play out like this, I would be very excited about the prospects of this team doing a lot of what we did last year, finding ways to win games. when you look at a schedule, you need games that are going to give you an opportunity, like if there's bleeding, to stop the bleeding. Last year, it was set up beautifully for us. For instance, we played the Ravens, and then right after we played the Ravens, we played the Panthers, I believe it was, right? So it gave you a chance to get your shit together, right? Because you licked your wounds, you were disappointed, like, all right, we got to bounce back. And then you found somebody you could beat the shit out of and get your confidence back, get your mojo back, right? So, or was it the Browns? Let's see. It was week 1 was Tampa Bay, week 2 was Giants, week 3 was Cincinnati, week 4 was Arizona, week 5 was the Browns, week 6, because we were 4-1 heading into that game. We lost to the Ravens in week 6. Week 7 was the Panthers. Week 8, who was week 8? Because the Giants were week 9. So who did we play in week 8? I'm missing somebody. Or were the Panthers week 8? I feel like I'm missing a game in there somewhere. Bears were week 8. So it was the Panthers week 7, because that's when Jaden got injured. Then we played the Bears the next week after he got injured. That was the you obviously know what game that was. And then you had the Giants after that. And then we hit that rough stretch of Steelers week 10, quick turnaround Eagles week 11, Cowboys week 12, and we lost all 3 of those games. And boy, did we need the Titans in week 13. You need a game in there that's like, all right, I see y'all bleeding. Here's a tourniquet, right? Stop that shit. All right. Go ahead, sew it up, get it cleaned up, bandage that shit up, get your life together. That's what the Titans were for us in week 13 last year. And it didn't hurt that we came off the bye and then boom, you had the Saints. Even though we almost tried to throw that shit away, it was the Saints. So you found a way to win, right? And that gave us our swag back, and it allowed us to finish the season the way that we did. So even looking at this schedule, again, if it were to go out this way, I think we've set it up where you feel like, all right, there are no stretches where you're like, damn, where's a safe landing space, right? There's somewhere everywhere. Like I like the Broncos game. Like that's not an easy opponent by any stretch of the imagination, but that's a game you feel like, hey, I think we can handle that game, right? Got the Giants at the end of the season. If you need it, right? If you need it, it's good to know that shit's sitting there, right? The Raiders in week 10, like I said, you could look at that as a tough stretch if you want. Eagles, Lions, Falcons, Vikings, Cowboys. That could be a tough stretch. All right, if that shit ain't going well, and it needs to, if this is the way it comes down, it needs to go well, right? But if it's not, you got the Raiders there, like, all right, let's get our shit together right here before we head to Madrid. Let's get our shit together. So anyway, let's see if we got any anomalies. So you got 3 out of 4 on the road, weeks 2 through 5. Let's see. Really, that stretch of weeks 2 through 8 is you got 5 out of 7 on the road, right? To start. But the beauty is you get that get back at the end with 3 out of 4 to wrap up the season. But you got 2 stretches where you're playing a lot of road games, right? And something else that you guys did a good job of is spreading out the West Coast trips. Chargers in week 3, and then you don't go have another West Coast trip until week 14 at the Chiefs. So you did a good job of spreading out the West Coast trips. The Vikings are in the Midwest, so you had 2 back-to-back games. I wonder if they would go. No, I mean, it made sense because we played on a Monday night last year, week 3, just to go straight to Arizona. You play at 1:00 on a Sunday, you can come home. Like, it's not a big deal. We don't have to stay out on the road for 2 straight weeks like we did last year. But you got 5 out of 7 weeks 2 through 8 on the road. You get 2 home games, and you got 3 straight road games. Now, again, it's broken up by the week 12 bye, but technically speaking, it's still three straight road games. So anyway, I digress. This was a good exercise. This was fun. I enjoyed this. You guys are hilarious. And we're going to come back to this, right? We're going to come back to this on Thursday night, because tomorrow night, as you know, we'll be live, Commanders Kings, like tearing through the schedule bit by bit, piece by piece, going through it with a fine-tooth comb tomorrow. So we'll do that tomorrow night. Thursday night, we'll come back here and we'll compare what we did to what the schedule ultimately ended up being. And then we'll get into some particulars there as well. So that is going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on the show tonight. I do want to remind you that tomorrow we're going to have a long day, right? We're starting early. I haven't decided what time I want to start, whether I want to start at 10 in the morning or 12. I think I'm going to wait till noon. I don't really foresee too much coming out at 10 o'clock in the morning. But I think we'll go from like 12 to maybe 6 tomorrow, where we'll just be constantly updating the news that comes down from a schedule perspective. And we'll be looking at all 32 teams in the league. And in doing so, we'll be able to sort of, by process of elimination, determine where some of our games are or aren't going to be. Like, for instance, if we find out Minnesota's playing someone in week 6, well, we know Minnesota's probably going to be on a bye in week 6. But if we find out coming off their bye in week 7, Minnesota's going to be playing someone, okay, well, we're not playing Minnesota in week 7, right? We have them on our schedule, the schedule that you guys created. We have us playing them in week 8. So we find out that they're playing the Packers week 8. Well, guess what? They're not playing us on week 8, right? In week 8. So you'll be able to see that kind of stuff, because those tidbits will come out. We'll get some of the primetime schedule tomorrow as well. So you'll get, oh, this team's playing this team on primetime in week 6 and week 12 and week 9. And hopefully we'll get a little bit of that from us, right? No, like last year, the last 5-6 years, we've sat out of the primetime discussion conversation prior to the schedule coming out, because we ain't have shit. So when they started putting out little, leaks of Sunday night and Monday night, we weren't a part of that. We knew that. We weren't a part of that. We just had to wait till the schedule came out to see our 2 little measly prime timers that they were going to throw us and be happy that we even got 2. That ain't going to be the case this year. The question is we won't get less than 4. It's 4 or more. I may ask y'all this, and then we'll get out of here. Over under on primetime games, I'm setting it at 5. Over under. Where you guys at? Over under. Set it at 5. Where y'all at? Over or under? And when I say prime time, it might not be at 8 o'clock at night. Maybe I should rephrase the statement. Uncommon time slots. Over, under 5. Metaphor says over. Face Vengeance says over. Lee Lewis says under, so he's probably thinking 4. Jay says over. Reek says over. I'm thinking over. Y'all know where I'm at. Scott Hooker says over. I'm thinking the number 6 or 7. That's what I've been on. Kevin and PRF says over. Corey, over. So Ninja X says over. I think the number is either 6 or 7. 7 may be a bit ambitious, especially if we don't get week 1. If we don't get week 1 and we don't get Thanksgiving or Christmas, then the number's probably more like 5 or 6. If you get one of those two, Christmas or Thanksgiving, again, you guys are crazy. You guys got us getting both. I don't see both. I see one or the other. If we get one of those two, then the number's 6 for sure. If we don't get either one of those and we don't get week 1, that number might be closer to 5. It might be closer to 5, and we may push. Kyle says over. I'm saying 6. Metaphor says 17 primetime games. Lee Lewis says at least 4. Lee Lewis says both is crazy town. I agree. There's no way we're getting both Christmas and Thanksgiving. I think Christmas is the one that's most likely for me right now, especially with that Eagles game being 5 days before on a Saturday, just based off of what they did last year, even though it's not going to be the same because the Eagles would have already played Green Bay and Chicago. So that rules out the whole, we're going to take the same 4 teams and just mix and match them to play like 5 days later from Saturday to Christmas like they did last year with those same 4 teams, Kansas City, Pittsburgh, Houston, and Baltimore. They're not doing that this year, clearly. So the NFL, one thing I can say is they try not to repeat patterns, right? They do a really good job of breaking habit. So, or as they say in the league, a tendency breaker, right? They don't create tendencies. And if you start to think that there's a tendency, they break it. So much for the, well, Chicago will play, Philadelphia and we'll play Chicago on Christmas and Philadelphia will play Green Bay on Christmas. Bullshit. Eagles have both of their Chicago and Philadelphia games already on the schedule as prime timers. So there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. The Eagles aren't going to be playing on Christmas Day. At least I don't think. It'd be crazy with the amount of prime timers the Eagles already have out there floating around. Dallas week 1, us week 16, a Black Friday game against the Bears. I think it's a Monday night game against the Packers. Shit, that's 4 right there, right? And they're not done. They're not done. So they got a game against Kansas City, I believe, just like we do. They got a game against the Chargers just like we do. There's another prime timer right there, right? They got Detroit just like we do. That's probably another primetime game for them. Like, both of us aren't going to get the Chiefs and the Lions on primetime. One of us probably gets them on primetime. The other won't. Like, I doubt both of us get Kansas City and Detroit. We feel like, because we just thinking about it from our schedule standpoint. Oh, yeah, Kansas City definitely primetime. Detroit definitely primetime. But, Dallas plays Kansas City and Detroit too, right? Philadelphia plays Kansas City and Detroit too, right? Like, we're not the only ones. And those are marquee matchups too. And so we're not just going to get all of that. But we do have Jaden Daniels. And those other teams don't. And so there is that. We'll see what it looks like. We'll see what it looks like. Anyway. One more sleep, guys and gals. One more sleep. One more sleep. One more sleep. All right. Duncan Wright. I almost don't even want to read this because I know it's some bullshit, but we'll read this and we'll get out of here. It says, I've seen Dak and Hurts in many national commercials, but where's Jaden? Meh. It wasn't Jaden, but Trump is the reason Washington is hosting the draft. I watch CNN and Fix News, so I know what I'm talking about. Okay, guy. Okay, guy. Sure, you're right, Duncan. Go to sleep, man. Go to sleep. Anyway, I digress. So that's going to do it for me, your man Louie T, here on the Command Post Live. You know what it is. Post up. Take command. I look forward to chopping it up with you guys tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. It's only one sleep away. We're going to be live for much of the day. And then obviously we will be together with the Commander Kings that night to break down the schedule in its entirety. So peek your head in if you can. I know a lot of you work during the day. You might not be able to be a part of the stream all day, but I'll be here. I'll be live most of the day tomorrow. Peek your head in, say what's up, check on some of the news of the day, see where we are from a schedule standpoint with us, as well as the other teams around the league. We'll be clocking the Eagles. We'll be clocking the Cowboys and the Giants as well to see what their schedule looks like. But we will be live for the vast majority of tomorrow. So I will see you guys then. Bring some refreshments. It's going to be a long day. All right. I'll have my smoothie in tow, probably have some cashews and some almonds. So it'll be a long day. So come prepared. Be prepared. Until then, I'm your man, Louie T, signing off. You guys have a great rest of your night, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.